welcome back to my channel. My name is Julia Ambani, commonly known as Jules. On this channel, I love to talk about books, literature development, and a sprinkle of other things here and there. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, feel free to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your people, comment, and let's connect. Guys, it's been a minute since I posted a video. Honestly, at this point, I won't even keep explaining. I'll just say it's adulting, but I'm trying to be a bit more intentional in the content creation. So hopefully we'll get a bit more of consistency now. But I just decided to hop on here and do a video about, as you've seen in the title, popular books that I just did not enjoy. I'll just give a disclaimer before I proceed to the books. These are just opinions. No two people will ever read the same book the same way. This is because it's a reflection of also me as a reader and how I perceive different stories and different types of settings. So I'm not saying these books are bad. I'm just saying they did not work for me. So I know some of the books I'm about to mention are crowd favorites and people really love them. And that's okay. I have books that I really love that some of my close book friends don't love. And it stings, but it's okay. Everyone has different opinions. I have books that I do not like that my close friends really like, and again, that's okay. So don't get in your feelings with this video. Let's just have a good time. I'll also just go ahead and give a disclaimer that a lot of the books in this list I don't have physical copies of because I either sold them or gave them away because I didn't see the need of having them on my bookshelf because I didn't really like them. So the first book in this list is one that I actually just finished reading a few weeks ago. It's My Sister the Serial Killer. I don't remember the author, but it's going to be somewhere there. This book disappointed me. Not that it's bad, I just expected too much. I went into it with too much of expectations. And I remember in the video where I was giving a reading update about this book, someone commented and said it's for a young reader, like someone who's not too well versed in the reading world, and I kind of agree. To me, for a book named My Sister the Serial Killer and the marketing that was done for it, I expected so much. I think I just expected too much, actually. I felt like the story was just, it was intriguing but not perfectly executed for what I thought it would be. However, it's still an African literature book that I still recommend, an easy one to read. It's not complex. It's nothing about suffering and African struggle. So yeah, that's the first book on my list. The second book is The Inheritance Games. This one, I should have known I wouldn't like it. It made its rounds on TikTok. I think even the book cover itself had like a disclaimer saying it's a TikTok sensation. I should have known from that. I don't know why I went on to get the copy. I think it's just one of those times where you're in the bookstore and the money is itching you. It's itching your pocket to be spent. I think that was the case because I DNF'd that book at I think 50 pages in. When I saw The Inheritance Games, I assumed it was a bit of a mature book or mature audience, only to get in there and find it wasn't. It was very young adult. I think it even had a few teens, I don't know. But I got to page 50 and I was like, no, I don't even want to know where this is going. I could already see a love triangle forming. I could already see there will be a lot of angst. I was like, no, not for me. So I don't know, I just think I'm not the correct audience for this book. There must be a target audience and it's not me. The third book is one that I've ranted about for a while. It's The Love Hypothesis. I was really excited about this book simply because it was a book representing women in STEM. One of my closest friends is in STEM, and also another friend who I've actually never met in person. We've just met through Bookstagram and we've become good friends. Shout out Harriet, she's also in STEM. So when I saw that, it's things to do with that, it's a PhD student, I was so intrigued because prior to this book, I had not read another romance book about women in science. It did not go how I was expecting it to go, guys. It did not. I'll tell you something. myself, I'm a master's student, and I know a bit of people who are doing their PhDs, and I even told them this story. I narrated to them what's going on, and they were like, that's not realistic, because when you're doing your PhD, first of all, you don't even have time for such behavior, such nonsense. And then the book is a fake dating trope, which is not my most favorite trope, because I never understand which scenario requires me to be fake dating, but that's beside the point. My problem with this book is that, first, the age of the characters. I think the female lead was around 26 and the male lead was over 30. And for these ages, I just found that the maturity level was not really there. And that's something that really bothered me, because I was like, if I wished this main character, the female lead character, could more or less show us like her struggles being in a male dominated field. The representation could have been done a bit more. Her relation with this, what do they call them? Is it like, well, what was he called? He was kind of like her professor or something like that. I just needed a bit clearer description. It really disappointed me. Being women in STEM, I was not impressed. My alternative for this book, if any of you is interested, go and read Lessons in Chemistry. That is what I thought a book talking about a woman in STEM should be. So I really recommend Lessons in Chemistry. Unfortunately for me, the love hypothesis, no. In fact, it had one of the most weird smart scenes I've ever seen in my life. Like, the lead character was talking so much throughout the scene. I was like, girl, please be quiet and enjoy whatever is happening. Anyway, the next book on this list is one that generally triggers me a lot. I don't know why. I do not know why it triggers me like this, but it is the Spanish love deception. This is another enemies to lovers trope, another fake dating trope. Maybe I just have an issue generally with the whole fake dating trope, but yeah, it's that trope. Two colleagues, and the main female colleague had to go home for her sister's wedding. She didn't want to go without a date, so she went with this male colleague as her date. Nah, I did not like this book. It was too much for me. No, it was too much. I know this is a crowd favorite. A lot of people really love it, but for me, it was not. I did not enjoy this. I do not enjoy these types of books where there's a lot of nonsense going on. I do not. The next book in this list is The Poppy War. The Poppy War was our first ever read as a fantasy book club last year, January. So it was our first read, and I was pretty excited going into it because I had never read prior to that any Asian inspired fantasy books. So this was a first. I'll tell you something. The first half of this book was, I loved it. The main character was tenacious. She knew what she wanted. She fought against different odds. She was, the type of main character I love. I don't know what happened in the second half. She suddenly became wishy-washy. She really disappointed me. I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know. All of a sudden, she became focused on this lead guy making weird comments. It's even just that I don't remember properly, like, the weird comments she was doing. She was making overly emotional decisions that did not make sense. I remember that made me give the book like 3 stars. And I think if the second half she had remained as strong and defying all odds as she had been in the first half, this could easily have been a 5-star book for me. My friends in the book club went ahead and read book 2 and 3. They did not like it. Again, I know people really love this book, but for me, I didn't like it simply because of how this main character, again, just turned out to be strange. I like books where female male characters are written as bold, tenacious, defying all odds type of characters, not this wishy-washy thing, but yeah. Another popular book I did not like is Crazy Rich Asians, and this is simply, I feel like I didn't like this book mostly because I had already watched the movie before reading the book, and the movie was so nice, so cute, And the book, not really. This is one of those scenes where the movie was definitely better than the book, in my opinion. I tried reading the book, I gave it 3 stars, simply because, first of all, it explained a lot of Chinese, I think, traditions. And to me, that several explanations was not the cute story I wanted. So, and I get the reason for the explanations, of course, for us to be able to understand, but I just felt like the movie was so good that to me the book just fell short. Maybe if I had read the book before watching the movie, I might have enjoyed it more, but the movie had already set expectations for me, and me being a hopeless romantic, I loved it. So I didn't really enjoy the book that much. The next book on this list is City of Bones. I think it's called the Mortal Instruments series, if I'm not wrong. I have a story about this book. When I first joined Bookstagram, okay, for those who don't know, I joined Bookstagram in March of 2020 during the COVID period. I mostly joined it because we were isolated, I was lonely, and I wanted to join social media in a positive way, so I joined Bookstagram. And because I love reading a lot of fantasy, the first few accounts that I interacted with were fantasy accounts, I guess, people who read a lot of fantasy. And this book was making the rounds. This series was making the rounds. Everywhere I looked, it was all about Clarissa, and I've forgotten even the main character, the male main character. But that's all I could see. So I found someone who was selling the 3 books secondhand at a very good price and decided, because these books have been so hyped, I'm going to buy all of them. Well, what a mistake. I think this book it's not bad. It's not a bad book. I just read it at the wrong time. I wish I had read it when I was in high school, because I would have enjoyed it more. I think it has like a lot of teenage angst, teenage romances, love triangles, blah blah blah. I would have enjoyed that much more if I was a bit younger reading it. The funny thing is, this book is adapted on Netflix as a series, and I enjoyed the Netflix series. I think because I didn't have to read all those weird descriptions about, oh, you know, does she like him, or blah blah blah, those emotional angst. I didn't have to read them, so I think that's why I enjoyed them more. But like for the book themselves, I was so disappointed. I didn't even read book 2 and 3. I just gave them out. But I've had my friend Soila tell me that, because this author I think has many different books in like the same universe. So there's one she's told me is really good. I don't know if it's the Shadow Hunters or if it's the Mortal Instruments or which one. There's one set she told me is good, but for now, no, I'm not a fan of the books. The next book in this list is actually another African literature book. It's You Made a Fool Out of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezi. This book, I just did not like it that much. Actually, I just came to realize I'm not the biggest Akwaeke fan. I've read one of their books that I really enjoyed, and that's The Death of Vivek Oji. I loved that book. I have tried reading other books. I've tried reading Pet, I've tried reading Bitter, and now I've tried reading You Made a Fool Out of Death with Your Beauty. It's just not my cup of tea. It wasn't for me. So, but I know many people enjoyed it, but for me, I didn't just enjoy it. The main character was just too messy. The story felt a bit rushed, especially towards the second half, but it's still a book I'd say give it a try if you wish. The next book is again an African literature book. It's We Need New Names. This book, the problem was I went in with too high expectations and it did not deliver what I expected. I had seen a lot of good reviews about it, raging reviews, you know, it's all this, it's all that, it's funny. So when I went into it, this is the expectation I was looking into, and it did not meet my expectations. So I think it's just a matter of me going into it with high expectations, because it wasn't generally a bad book. Actually, this thing of me going into books with high expectations has really disappointed me so much that nowadays, if I want to read a book, I don't read the synopsis, I don't read reviews, I just go into it blankly to judge it for myself, because I've realized if many people are hyping it up, I'll go into it with like so much hype, and then if I get disappointed, it will be not even because the book was bad necessarily, but because I just expected too much. So nowadays I just go into books blindly to avoid this disappointment. And guys, I think that brings me to the end of, let's say, part one of books that are so popular but I personally did not enjoy. I know there's other books that maybe I'll compile a second list and do a part two, but for now that's my list. Let me know if you've read any books that I've mentioned. Did you like them? Did you not like them? Is it me? Am I the drama? Am I the problem? Let me know. But for now, I think that's a wrap on this video. I'll see you guys in my next video, and keep safe guys. Bye.